Cuckoo was written and directed by Tilman Singer. It stars Hunter Schafer as Gretchen, a 17-year-old girl who is forced to move with her family to a German resort where things are not what they seem. This was one of my most anticipated films of the year. It hits theaters this Friday. I was lucky enough to see it early thanks to Movie Scene Canada. Make sure to check out all their links in the description down below. So Cuckoo is a classic thriller, kind of horror, kind of drama type film where a family moves to a European place and the scientists are doing stuff they should not do. That's definitely not an idea I've heard before, but anyway, there's a lot of fun to be had with Cuckoo. It is a very, very good looking film. The color palette is gorgeous. There's a lot of really great uses of green and blue, and then the red really stands out here as well. There were a few times in this film where maybe I wasn't as interested in what was exactly happening in the scene, but it was still pretty to look at. Hunter Schafer does an excellent job leading this film. Of course, I have all my faith in her. She's one of my favorite working actors. I will see her in everything she does, and she is by far the best part about this film. She really, I hate to say it, outdid a lot of the other people here. Not to say that anybody is bad. There's just a lot of stereotypical characters and a lot of what we've already seen. So having Hunter Schafer here really felt like the one thing that elevated this movie into, yeah, okay, I'll watch that. The story is cool, although obviously the basic beats of the story is something that we are extremely familiar with. So when the twists and turns happen throughout this film, I wasn't all too shocked. And this is a film that heavily relies on the shock value, and it just wasn't there. There's some really cool sound design choices here. Hunter Schafer's character Gretchen plays bass guitar, and sometimes they just have a bass track kind of filling the atmosphere, which I really did enjoy. There were some kind of fun musical calls I found to people who, I guess, really pay attention, or at least, bass sounds like this. Oh, we include in the movie. That's really all there is to it. As for the horror elements of this film, I did think that they were pretty impressive. There's some cool, I'm not sure if it was makeup, I assume so, or special effects. Whatever is used to achieve the horror parts of this film is pretty cool. Again, it's just an idea that is not all too interesting because I've already seen it before in better ways. This movie also takes a while to get started. I really wasn't interested in what was happening for a long while. I will say the second half is definitely better. It delivers on some more things that you're like, okay, maybe I expected it, but I'm still glad this happened. But it really had a hard time locking me in at the start. The biggest problem that this film has is that there are a ton of ideas here, but none of them really feel like they are fully explored. There's parts of this story and parts of this story and this connection and this, but a lot of the time these scenes will end earlier than they feel like they should. Sometimes that's just because Hunter Schafer's character fell asleep and we just wake up with wherever she is, which makes sense to me, but there are a bunch of moments here which should have gone on for like a minute or two more and would have made the scenes way more strong and memorable. I think that's one thing that this film really lacks is memorability, because I finished this movie 20-30 minutes ago and there's a lot of it that I forgot. But still, this is a fun movie and I enjoyed watching it. It did take a little bit for me to get into it, but I was having fun with trying to figure out who was connected to who and what this means and what this is and all that stuff. I don't want to get too into it, but there are some major issues here that really hold this film back from being one of my favorites of the year, which is unfortunate to say because I was really excited for it, but it's overall still a good enough movie. Cuckoo is a very fun thriller with exciting sequences of horror and a great lead performance by Hunter Schafer. Unfortunately, the story feels extremely familiar, and because of that, there is no shock value, which is what this film heavily relies on. The color palette is beautiful, and there's some intriguing sound choices, but nothing that ever had me glued to my seat. There are plenty of ideas cluttered together here, and none of them feel fully explored by the end. Still, it's worth watching for Hunter Schafer and Hunter Schafer only. I'm going to give Cuckoo a 3 out of 5. Not a bad film by any means, just something that I wasn't all too satisfied with, I guess I could say, but I wasn't unsatisfied with it at the same time. It's there. I watched it. I had a fun enough time with it. If you plan to check it out, let me know in the comments down below, or if somehow you've already seen it early. And thank you all for watching. I will see you guys next time. Over and out.